everybody. It's Safi and Marco dish out on the movies. And we're reviewing what we just saw. And that was Season 10, Episode 8. Inside is what it's called. At least that's what Marco tells me. And he's being a little goofy today, I guess because he's tired. Because we both get up early and it's getting close to night time. So anyway, well, I was not watching this show last week when Marco reviewed it because I was binge watching season 2 because Marco wanted me to watch all of season 2 to help me understand what would be going on in this season.
Well, it feels like they're going to make some connections in the next 2 episodes.
I hope so, left. Because if they don't, they're stupid. Well, but I just wanted to tell you that last week, if I had been reviewing it at that time, you would not have been happy because I was really unhappy. That was nothing but pornography. And if I ever, and I might complain because I can't even think about what was said, and I don't even want to keep thinking about it.
What was said that was so bad?
All the stuff about Giardia, and I'm not going to repeat it because I don't even want to remember it.
Well, what did they say that was so bad that makes you...
I don't want to talk about it, and I'm not... And we're talking about tonight's episode, but I'm telling you, it was probably good that I didn't review it because... Between the two, remember, this is it's like a coin where there's one story on one side and a different story, but kind of connected on the other side.
Or it's kind of like when you have an ice cream sandwich and you have one half and another half.
Right. So the first half was really good. I thought the guy who played Eisenhower...
He looks like him, but he doesn't really sound like him as much.
I was a little baby kid, and I was under 5 when he was president. So I don't know anything about the way he was, except he was from Kansas, and I know how people from Kansas can be.
He's still good, though.
But I thought he did an excellent job, and I thought it was a really good episode, or that slice of it. The other half, I could have punched a few writers' lights out, okay? But we're not going to go back into that. I just wanted to explain to you that now I have watched season 2, and I know now there's some kind of alien connection and how this all came to be, or kind of. And so tonight, I actually liked both halves because I thought I laughed. I laughed my head off because, first of all, in the first... I'm not saying in a bad way, like they were so horrible that I laughed.
Well, the second one was so horrible that you could laugh.
But the Eisenhower, that part, I thought was really good, of course.
Yeah.
And lots of action compacted into a very small space, which, if they can do it in that, why can't they do it in other things? But anyway, and then, what was I going to say?
The second half?
Well, I wanted to say one thing I really liked about the first act was the guy who played Nixon was hilarious because he had studied him and really tried to get the way he acted. And I just laughed. It was so funny.
Yeah, he was the highlight of this episode. And just all the actors of the first half, they were really the highlight because they were doing this very rushed story that just kind of like, it zooms by so fast that it's like you're seeing an alien car drive like at 100,000 miles an hour in front of you, but these actors really did the script well, even though the script was rushed.
Yeah, they did do a good job, and I'm not criticizing this guy at all. I thought he was really good. It's just, when Nixon was in front of the public on camera, he was a lot more controlled. And so this was a Nixon who wasn't on camera, so to speak. He was on camera as a character, but not like in a control, like on the news or being interviewed. He was just being a person and talking to Dwight Eisenhower and Mamie Eisenhower. Anyway, I just thought he was really good and I laughed. And then the second part of the episode, well, maybe I'll just let Marco comment on that and then I'll say what I thought about the second part. Go ahead, Marco. What did you think about the first part? Do you want to say anything else about it?
Well, I would say that the first part was obviously the best part. Obviously, I mean, it's kind of obvious at this point that, like, the first half will be really good and that there's not really anything to complain about, so there's not really anything to talk about except for the fact that, you know, the acting's really good, especially from Nixon, and, you know, there were some surprises without getting into spoilers. Well,
no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, spoiler. Oh, no.
No, don't do it.
No, but spoiler. But my favorite part was how Nixon kept on wiping his head because he was sweating all the time.
And they talked about this.
That was obviously a reference to
the debate
when he did the debate, and so I thought that was really good and like a little subtle like thing for smart people to look at.
Yeah, and there was also the introduction of Marilyn Monroe.
That wasn't.
And I'll tell you something. There were a couple things they said, and I'm just not really sure that's true. So I'm going to be looking it up.
Safi.
I know it really has nothing. She did say she had a visit from aliens who turned her teddy bear into an alien. She didn't say it like that. They just showed it because when it happened, she was a little girl.
Basically, the first half was a string of impressions of the different figures, and you know, you had Amelia Earhart, she was fine, and then you had Marilyn Monroe, she was fine. The one that I really didn't like was John F. Kennedy, because he really didn't remind me of him at all, and I know that obviously, you know, he's still a good actor. Like, he didn't do a bad job acting. It's just that he doesn't remind me at all of the person. So I thought that was kind of a fail. And then, of course, you have Nixon, and you have Eisenhower, and you have Mama Eisenhower.
Mamie Eisenhower?
Mamie.
Mamie, M-A-M-I-E.
The maid Eisenhower, Madam Eisenhower, Mrs. Eisenhower. She was really good. You know, obviously that's Crybaby, and she's in yet another disguise. And it's funny because even though she's been trash in other seasons, like in season 2, she's really kind of like one of the highlights of the season as a whole, because she has like extremely different characters and different performances in both stories. So I thought that was like really interesting that she was sort of a highlight of this episode. And so I would rate the first half like an A once again. What about you, Safi? What would you rate the first half?
I agree.
Really?
Just, well, on the surprise that happened at the end, which I'm not revealing. And then also, the guy who played Eisenhower was hilarious.
You mean Nixon?
I just got
you
such
mean
a
Nixon?
good... Yes.
Yeah.
What did I say? Eisenhower?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
You have to clarify
Nixon.
that.
He is... he's hilarious.
And then the second...
Okay, the second one, that was hilarious, too.
It was trash, just like last week.
Okay, I'll tell you. I'm so glad that there was no gay pornographic talking. Because if I would have heard that one again, I probably would have punched the TV. I mean, I'm not going to put up with
I
that.
was kind of disappointed because I wanted
I'm
I
not.
wanted Safi to get upset again because
Well, I could still get upset because I think that kind of trash talk on TV is totally unnecessary. It didn't add anything to the story. Nothing that's happening in this episode relates to that at all. I just heard something and now I want to confirm it by talking to somebody else. I'm not even going to talk about who that might be and why they needed to say all, even the girl. So there's nothing about gays. I don't want anybody to have cow. What she said. Oh God.
they'll be upset anyway.
I
Safi.
don't like it. I don't like either
You
one.
don't know what
I thought it was
SJWs
disgusting,
think
and I didn't want to hear it, and it had nothing to do with furthering the story or making it better
It was
or
funny.
enhancing it
It
or
was really
any.
funny.
It made it turn into a pile of acid.
It was really
And I
funny.
could really say it made it turn into a pile of sh you know what. Okay? So I don't want to say anything more about that.
It was really funny.
I like this part of the episode
And
because this isn't going to reveal anything new. Everybody knew this from the last part of the episode last week, and that is they're all pregnant. How? I don't know. They're in the desert, and I didn't see anything that happened that would make them pregnant. I don't know, unless they just didn't show what really happened. They only showed the end of it, and so we don't even know that they actually went through something. You know, like they were kidnapped by aliens, and they.
Well, you weren't really paying attention.
Well,
but they put tentacles on them too, and you didn't really see that because you were sleeping.
Well, I must have fallen asleep. I tried not to, but it was really tired. So anyway, I'll just say this, they all have to go to the doctor because they all know, they all think they're pregnant, and they can't.
Let's just review it first, and then we'll just talk about spoilers because you're kind of like
okay, whatever.
You're kind of just like over explaining, and you don't need to because it's like we can just talk about spoilers.
No, okay, well,
the second half was just as trash as last week.
No, I don't agree.
Well, that's because you're you.
Because I was just laughing.
Yeah, I was laughing too because it's so bad.
I also liked how brave a couple of them were, and I won't say who and what I'm talking about, but they didn't just accept what was happening to them. They stood up for themselves and started asking questions and demanded they get answers. And so I thought that they were very brave and that they, I liked that they didn't settle for what was told for them, that they wanted to know more. And one of the guy especially,
well,
you
just gave it away.
I know, but he was wondering something.
So
I'm not going to say what it was, but I was wondering the same thing.
And that's kind of pointless too, because it's like.
Well, whatever. I just liked that, and I thought it was funny too.
It's like
I'm not going to say
little
why.
Story. And you're acting like there's some huge spoilers.
No, I don't.
These aren't huge spoilers.
It may not hit you people the same way. I just thought it was really funny.
Who's you people? The gays?
The people who are listening to the. You're making a problem where there isn't one. Okay, I just whoever wants to listen to this review. Okay, I liked it. I thought it was hilarious when they. Well, okay. At the beginning, and I won't say why, but anyway. And I liked it then when there's four of them. There's 2 girls and 2 boys. And 2 out of the 4 ask a lot of questions and they got pissed off and they tried to stand up for themselves. And of course, they're pregnant and what can they do? Nothing much.
Okay. Are you done?
Yeah.
Oh, finally.
So that's it.
Well, okay, this was trash like last week.
it'd be trash if they continued to talk like they were talking last
Well,
week.
it's-
Both of them.
it's just-
I'm not just talking about gay people. I'm talking about that
I
girl.
thought you were done, Safi. Oh, thanks a lot, Safi. I'm trying to talk here. So, so you have these four terrible actors. You know, you have the two gays. You have the main girl who, you know, I'm trying to come up with nicknames for them. You know, because I'm not going to call them by their stupid character names because their characters suck.
I don't even know their character names.
Well, the main girl is Kendall, but I'm not going to call her Kendall. I'm going to call her something demeaning. I don't know what I don't know what it is yet. I'll have to think of it by next week. So it's just you know, it's funny because this video has been like 16 minutes, mostly because of Safi's over explaining. But this is like two very rushed and very like it just like why is it just so like little? Like it just feels like almost like a trailer for a show rather than an actual show. It feels like you know, the first half you have like a very simple story because it's only 20 minutes. And it's like, you know, you can only do so much within 20 minutes per section. And then the second half, it's really simple. And there really isn't any room for any sort of surprise or, you know, like, big surprise. Like, you know, like in the first half where you had the part where tuberculosis Karen kills Mickey and then kills herself. You know, that was really surprising. And, you know, you don't really have any room for that because it's so short and so rushed. And you can really feel the rushedness of the second half. You know, these actors are so bad. And as I said before, I would love to see them die in a terrible way. The characters, obviously.
Oh, Mark.
That's what I said last week. I said, I don't like these characters. They're horrible, gross people, and I hope that they die as soon as possible because they're just so annoying and obnoxious, and I hate them. You know, they're funny to laugh at because of how gross they are. And in this episode, you know, they really didn't garner any sympathy from me. You know, they're sort of put into this situation that's like the asylum. Because they're basically kidnapped by these men in black and put into an asylum in space where they'll have their babies with this secret doctor woman, and the doctor is played by the chemist from the first half, which is why I thought that the chemist would be in the second half, is because it said that the actress would be on there. It didn't say anything about the character. But it turns out that she's a hybrid. And that was sort of like the big surprise, quote unquote. But yet again, it's only 20 minutes. And that's not even counting all the commercials that keep on interrupting the story. And so this big surprise is that she takes off her hood and she's got like half alien face, half human face, and like that's just stupid.
Yeah, that's one thing that was
trash.
Odd.
I mean, what? Like we were expecting like some really fantastic monster reveal, but then it just turns out to be like a half and half type of look. Like, ugh, that looks like trash. That's like an That's like in Alien vs. Predator Requiem when they had the Pred Alien. Remember that, Safi? Remember the half alien, half predator? Ugh. That looked terrible too. So, you know, you're really... The reason why the second half is so bad is because you're supposed to feel sorry for these characters and you're supposed to, like, really feel scared for them. And obviously, we don't feel sad or scared because we hate them.
Well, I don't hate them, but
I do.
after what happened last week, I was. It's not their fault. It's the writers who wrote the words that came out of their mouths.
Well, that's no. It's kind of their fault too because they're not very good actors, especially the
Marco,
main
they
girl.
could have been the best actors in the world, and saying that kind of crap.
Yeah,
I would never accept it for saying from anybody.
Because that's just like dialogue from Californication.
No, it's
and
not.
You know that the characters in Californication say that kind of stuff, and it
Oh,
comes
no
out much
way.
better.
I don't believe it. You they say that stuff? Really?
Well, in season 6, there's a gay storyline, but it's like a fake gay storyline. But we won't get into that. That's a separate topic. But yes, they do. And so it really comes down to these actors. And they sort of ruin it. But they kind of make it fun because it's fun to laugh at them because they're so bad. But other than that, there's really no value to this story. Honestly, like even if like something huge happens in these 2 episodes that we have left, which is basically 1 episode because you put 20 and 20 together, you get 40, you get 1 episode. So we have 1 episode with both stories left.
Mm.
And then we had a new character played by Ursula from the first half, and she's trash yet again. She's basically playing like another snarky type of, South Park character. And I really don't know what her deal is. I guess she's been impregnated like multiple times by these aliens. And yet again, it's like, why wouldn't you cast someone who we would feel sorry for? I don't care about her at all. So that ruined it again. I mean, come on. The casting was terrible in this part. The thing that I did like was just the idea. I liked the idea that you would have these people and they would be put in this space asylum and that they would be stuck in there while they're pregnant. I thought that was like a really good idea because, if you remember in season 2, they abducted Kit at the end of the season. And so we might actually get to see Kit because we learned that in space you don't age. And so they probably took him to space so that they could fix his cancer and basically keep him alive forever. And my theory is that Kit is the leader of their group and that there will be a surprise cameo from him and that he will be like the star of the last episode or something.
I don't know.
But that's just from like someone with a logical mind. Like if I were writing it, that's what I would have done because it's kind of like, you put 2 and 2 together, you should get 4. You shouldn't get 5,000, Safi. So I give the second half like it's tough because I really hate the acting. I don't like these like millennial actors who, they're not horrible, but they're just terrible. And so they're on the way to being horrible. and you contrast it with the first half, which is really good acting. And it's just such a bad contrast to have that first half that has great acting, and then you get to the second half with that acting. It's like, once again, they should have had it where each episode is past and present, not split in half episodes. Because then you would have just been able to focus on the story and not have that contrast of the bad and good acting. And one last thing is that I really don't like the title of this story.
I don't either.
Death Valley. I mean, that doesn't make sense at all, honestly. No. It led me to believe that they would just be spending the whole season in Death Valley. And that it would be like them stranded there with aliens like having a secret base inside Death Valley or something. Like, I thought that the whole season would take place in Death Valley. So I thought that was really disappointing, honestly, and kind of like stupid. So, Safi, what would you... Oh, wait, did I rate it? Oh, yeah, no, I didn't.
I thought you did.
No, I didn't. I didn't rate the second half. I give the second half like a like a C minus. It just I liked some of the concepts and the ideas, but I didn't like how it was executed, and I don't I don't want to see more of Ursula at all. Like she's gonna play some big part into. I don't want to see any more of Ursula. Like come on, and then you have the main girl, and oh God, what is her problem? Like, hasn't she ever seen a movie before? Hasn't she ever watched someone act before? Safi, so what would you rate it?
Uh, I guess I'd give it a B.
I bet you do.
Just because it was hilarious. It was funny. Well, we know they're all pregnant, right? But they don't really believe it, because how could that be? I mean, really, that's not revealing anything. How could they be pregnant? How? Okay. So guess what would you do to prove that you're pregnant? You take a pregnancy test, but guess what? They have expanded into the 9-month range look overnight. In other words, you know what a pregnant mother looks like at 9 months. They look pretty big. Well, they look pretty big, and they're all, skinny young people. So big looks big on them. Okay?
Which, another huge plot hole that I just thought of was that in season 2, we can deduce now that they were doing experiments on Grace and Alma, and so that they impregnated them as well. Well, why did their babies come out like normal people?
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, they weren't. I guess they weren't thinking ahead back then, so they couldn't really do that. And
well, I thought they were. I thought they were pregnant in season 2.
no,
I thought
the
Alma
the aliens impregnated them.
Well, it would have to be. Well, Alma, I don't know.
Remember, she was fixed, and then all of a sudden she was pregnant when she came back from being dead. And then Alma.
But now Alma was pregnant. I remember.
She wasn't pregnant.
I think she was.
They had sex in the first episode, and then she was abducted. She wasn't pregnant until she came back.
Okay, well, if that's I don't know.
Yeah.
So much to know in that. I mean, that season was unbelievable.
Well.
Anyway,
it's a show.
But so, okay, what do? You get an ultrasound, right? So, okay, I guess one of the girls had a doctor who she went to, and she wanted to get an ultrasound, but they all wanted it. No, but they're just trying to handle it a minute at a time, and so anyway, well, the African American girl gets it, and then of course the doctor has a cow because of what they see. They go in the other room. Well, so you get one of the males up there.
One of the gays.
And then they show the alien, and then they start talking. It was just hilarious. I'm sorry. I just thought it was funny. I couldn't take it seriously because.
So you just admitted it was bad.
Well, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah,
it made me laugh.
That's
so
bad.
Well, I guess it's bad, but I thought it was funny.
You're supposed to feel scared for them. You're supposed to feel anxious.
I don't feel scared or anxious.
There's men that are pregnant.
But I did.
Like in Arnold Schwarzenegger's Jr.
But I did like it that particular one, and also the other girl, the one Marco really can't stand for some reason.
I really hate her.
They do not sit there idly pondering their fate. They have questions, and they demand to know the answers, and they stand up for themselves, even though they're up against something really. It's just all weird. I mean, the powers beyond their belief. So anyway, I just thought it was funny. I can't help it when they showed because what happened was she had to leave the room because she had to get a consult with another doctor because she saw the alien in the picture and the ultrasound, and she didn't say anything to the girl and the pregnant mother, and so the other people, they were going to hurriedly get up there, and she was going to do this other girl was going to do the ultrasound, and all anybody else who wanted to do it. And one of the gay guys, the dark-haired guy, got up there, and she was doing that while the woman was talking on the telephone in the other room.
Have you finised explaining something?
Well, anyway, I just thought it was
people
funny.
saw it. If they watched the 30-minute review, they've seen the episode.
Okay, hon. I just thought it was funny.
Nobody likes those types of reviews. I hate them.
Okay, Marco. That's it.
That.
So I just gave it a B. So the first one definitely was better because it was. I thought because the guy who played Eisenhower, I think he's really good.
You mean Nixon?
The guy who plays Eisenhower is really good.
But you keep on confusing
and the guy who plays Nixon is hilarious. The way he imitates him is just hilarious to me. I'm sorry. I just laugh. I laughed through almost every time he got on the screen. I just laughed my head off.
She did, except for the opening couple of minutes that she missed, didn't watch. So, what would you rate that? So the episode overall, I guess it's like a B, because
that's probably a C, a B minus or a C plus or something.
Okay, I would say overall this episode is a C plus, because I think the hard thing for me that I'm having trouble with is that I really can't get into these stories when they're only 20 minutes long. I really can't get into like having any sort of interest in them beyond just being like, oh, that's pretty good, or that's pretty bad. Like I can't get invested in the characters or anything because it's just so fast. It's just so fastly moving, that's what happens with anthology stories, is that they're so fast, and it's just nonsense almost. I mean, this whole episode is like nonsense because it's like, what's the story here? There's going to be hybrids. I mean, are they going to have some stupid finale where just everyone in America is a hybrid alien human? I mean, it feels like that's where they're going based on the last piece of shit season, Red Tide. More like red shit. So, what should people do, Safi?
Just hit the like button if you like it. And also, how about subscribing to our channel? We really love subscribers.
Well, we're 2 away from 200.
I'm just starting to fade because I got up early.
That's a weird comment to say.
But anyway, and if you have a comment about what you thought about
in terms of comments,
Nixon or the gays who have men, though, it's not that they could just be straight. Just men being pregnant was really weird.
Well, the comment that I'd like is I'd like a suggestion for a nickname for the main girl. What should I call her? Because I really want to come up for a nickname that'll stick with her entire acting career through everything she does. Especially if she ruins any future American Horror Story seasons, I'll be sure to assist her in her career's destruction. So.
Okay, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.